Hello students, welcome back to my channel IITN Maths classes. So I hope you are doing well. In today's class, we are going to discuss exercise 4.2 question 1. So let's start with it. So dear student, in exercise 4.2, the question number 1 is you have to find the roots of the quadratic equation by factorization. The quadratic equation by factorization. So let's start it. So now, dear student, as you can see, the question number 1, we have question number 1, you can see it is x square negative 3x negative 10 equal to 0. So now it is saying you have to do the factorization. So what we mean by this factorization? So let's discuss that. So you have to solve this quadratic equation and you have to find the roots. So it means, first of all, let's discuss what we mean by roots of quadratic equation. We say it is quadratic equation. So root means you have to consider or you have to take the value of x such that this will satisfy your equation. It means such that it will satisfy the equation. So what does this mean? For example, students, we have, let me say one example. Let me say you have this equation. This is not quadratic, but this is linear. I can also discuss the root of this equation by saying that you have to find the value of x which satisfy this equation. So I can say I have the value of x is minus 5. If I substitute this value into my equation, so we will get, you see, we will get negative 5 plus 5 equal to 0. Means we are getting 0 equal to 0. So it means this value x equals to negative 5 is satisfying this equation. So this is the root of our linear equation. So similar way, we have to find the value of x in the quadratic equation which will satisfy our quadratic equation. Now, let us discuss how to do that. So, dear students, in the factorization method, what we have to do? We have to do the factor of this factor, which is negative 3x. Since in quadratic equation, we have three parts. First is this one. Second, we have negative 3x. Third, we have negative 10. So student, we have to factorization 3x such that if you take their product of the factor of negative 3x, so their multiplication should be negative 10 into x square. So what does this mean? Let me discuss here. So let's say we have factor of negative 3x is like minus 5x plus 2x, right? I can write this negative 3x as minus 5x plus 2x. So now if you see, if you do the product of these two factors, that is negative 5, 2x, that is negative 5 into 2x. So their product is negative 10x square. So it means you have to choose the factor of minus 3x such that their product is equal to minus 10 into x square. So now how to do, let's say step number 1. So dear student, we have done the factor of minus 3x is minus 5x plus 2x minus 10. So this is the step number 1. Now in step 2, we have to do the things, we have to simplify. How to simplify? You see, we have now the first part is this, second part we have this one. So now you have to take the common. Common means this is x square and this is minus 5x. So we can take the common as x between these first, and you see we can take common, then it will be, remaining part will be x minus 5. Similar, if you take the common from 2x and negative 10, so common is 2, and you see what is the remaining part, it is x minus 5 equal to 0. Now student, you can see in step 3rd, again we will take the common in between these two factors. So first factor we have this one, second we have this one. So now you can see here that our common will be x minus 5 in between both. So x minus 5 we will take as common in both. So you see what will the remaining one. So if we take x minus 5 is common in the first, so the remaining part is x here, and the remaining part in the second factor is 2. So this is the factorization of our quadratic equation. Now student, my aim is to find out the roots. We have done the factorization. Now after factorization, we have this equation, that is this one. Now in step 4, we can equate both the factor equal to 0. So first one is this one, this factor, and another factor is we have and x plus 2 equal to 0. So one thing we can say that it is saying that either the factor x minus 5 is 0 or x plus 2 is 0. Why is this so? Let me tell you student, why we are doing this one. For example, student, you have two numbers a and b, and if their product is 0, so we can say always either a is 0 or b is 0, or it may be possible both a and b 0. So any possibility may be possible. So if a is 0, then also product will be 0. If b is 0, then also product will be 0. And if both are 0, then also the product will be 0. All right. So now if you take the very first one, so we have x equal to 5. And if you consider the second one from this one, we have x equal to minus 2. So now it means since our equation is quadratic equation, so it has always two roots. Quadratic equation has always two roots. Equation has two roots. So the two roots are, in this question, it is 5 and minus 2. So now let us discuss the question part 2. Question 1 part 2. So we have 2x square plus x minus 6 equal to 0. So dear students, now you see we have to do again factorization, but now we have to do the factor of the middle term. Middle term is positive x. So you have to do the factor of this number such that their product should be negative 12x square. Why negative 12x square? You see it is minus 6 and it is 2x square. So that means this is the product of minus 6 2x square. So now we have to fill this one, that how to take those two factors such that their product is minus 12x square. So I can take the product 4x and negative 3x. So you see 4x minus 3x, it will be plus x. But if you do the multiply for both, if you do multiply, you will get minus 2x square. So now we can say the step number 1, students, 2x square plus 4x minus 3x minus 6 equal to 0. So now again our step number 2 is we have to take the common. Common means now we have first part is this one. The second part we have this one. Now students, if you take the common 2x square and 4x. So what is the common in between both? You can say common is 2x. All right. So if you take common, so what will be the remaining part? In the first one it is x and in the second one it is 2. All right. Now let's take the common in the second part. So now we have minus 3x minus 6. So student, we can take the common minus 3. So it will be x plus 2. Why it is plus? Because if you are taking common minus, so inside whatever sign is, it will change. If it is plus, it will change to minus. If it is minus, it will change to plus. If you are taking common minus 3. Okay. Now student, you can see in the step 3rd, we can take the common in between both these two factors. First, second. Now you see what we can take the common. It is x plus 2. If you take x plus 2 common, so the remaining part is 2x minus 3. From here we have 2x and the another one we have minus 3 equal to 0. All right. Now student, we have step 4. What we can do? We have now two factor. We can equate these factor equal to 0. So either x plus 2 equal to 0 or it may be possible that 2x minus 3 equal to 0. So if x plus 2 is 0, so we have the root, that is x is equals to minus 2. And if 2x minus 3 equal to 0, we can have 2x equal to 3. This implies we can have root x equals to 3 over 2. So this is the answer for question number part 1, part 2. So it means I can say we have two roots, that is x equals to minus 2 and 3 by 2. Now let us discuss the question 1 part 3. So if you see student question 1 part 3, we have square root 2 x square plus 7x plus 5 square root 2 equal to 0. Now students, you can see our middle term here 7x. It is positive 7x. Now you have to do the factor of these terms, that is positive 7x, such that their product will be equal to square root 2x square into 5 square root 2. So if you see the product of this term is, you can say square root 2 and this square root 2, it is 2x square into 5, that is 10x square. So student, now you have to take the factor of 7x such that their product should be 10x square. So I think it is easy for us now. We can take the factor 5x plus 2x. Now you see plus 7x equal to 5x plus 2x. But if you do the product, it is 10x square. So now let us write step number 1, that it is square root 2x square plus 5x plus 2x plus 5 square root 2. So now students, what we can do in step 2, our task is to take the common. So let's say this is our part 1 and let's say it is our part 2. Now you see in the first part, the common term is x only. And if you write x is common, so remaining part will be square root 2x plus 5. And in the second part, you see we have common term is this side we have 2 and this side we have square root 2. So now let me say we can write always 2 is square root 2 into square root 2. So it means now we can take the common easily between 2 and square root 2. That is square root 2. So now what is left one? Left one part is square root 2x plus 5. Now we can take the common again into these two parts. The common part is square root 2x plus 5. So this is the common part between these two terms. And if you take common this one, the left one here it is x. And in the second part, it is plus square root 2 equal to 0. Now student, in step 4, again, we can equate both the factor equal to 0. It means we have this factor equal to 0, or we can have the second factor equal to 0. So now from the first factor, we can say our x is minus 5 over square root 2. And from the second factor, we can say it is minus square root 2. So it means here we have find two roots of our quadratic equation, that is minus 5 over square root 2, and the another one it is minus square root 2. So this is the answer of our question 1 part 3. So now let us discuss the question, this one. So dear student, now what we can do in this question, as you can see the first term, it is 2x square and middle term is minus x, and the last term we have 1 over 8. Let us first simplify this. So let me tell you what we mean by simplifying. See, we can multiply this whole equation by 8. So if you multiply, what will happen? Let us see. This will the first step. If you multiply this equation by 8. So if you multiply by 8, let me write here, multiply by 8. So if you multiply by 8, what will this equation become? 16x square minus 8x plus 1 equal to 0. Now, this same equation become this equation. Now, it's easy to visualize this equation as a quadratic equation. And now also our task is easy to do the factorization, because you can see, student, we have middle term now minus 8x. And if you see the product of first and third term, it is 16x square into 1. That is, we have 16x square. So first and last term product is 16x square, and middle term we have minus 8x. So now can you see we can do the factorization like minus 4x minus 4x. So we have these two factors of minus 8x such that their product is 16x square. So now let us write step number 1. It is 16x square minus 4x plus 1 equal to 0. Now students, you can see in the second step, we will always take the common. So now you see we have first part is this, and the second part we have this one. Now let us take the common. If you see, we have 16x square and the next is minus 4x. So you see 16 and 4, we can take the common 4, and x square and x, between these we can take common x. So what will be the left one? It is 4x minus 1. Now student, in the second term, you can see that it is minus 4x plus 1. So we can take a common minus. So it will be 4x. As you see, we have taken the common minus. So inside whatever the sign, as you can see here it is plus. So it will change to minus 1 equal to 0. So now in step 3, again we have to take common, but common in between these two terms. So you can see we can take the common 4x minus 1. And what is the left one? Left one is 4x minus 1 equal to 0. So now students, it is easy to visualize the factor from step 3, that either from these steps, either 4x minus 1 is 0 or 4x minus 1 is 0. So from the very first, it is x equals to 1 over 4. Or from the second factor, also it is 1 over 4. So now interesting thing is here, you can see in the previous questions, we always got the factors are different. Like you can see in this one, these two factors are different. In the previous question also, it was different. But now you can see we got the factors, but both are same. So it is the beauty of this equation that this quadratic equation have two roots, but both the roots are equal roots. So these two are equal to roots. All right. So now, students, we have these two roots for this quadratic equation. In the coming classes, we will see when such kind of root occurs. Like in the previous question, the roots are different, and in this question, the roots are equal. So in the next exercise, we will discuss how to understand the nature of the roots. So now let us finish our question, that is question number 5, question part 1. So question 1, part 5th, it is saying you have to do the factorization of this equation and then you have to find the roots. So now the similar approach we will follow here, that you have first term is 100x square. Let me write here. And the last term we have plus 1. So if you do the multiplication, you have product 100x square. But now the middle term we have 20x. So students, you have to do the factor of this negative 20x such that their product should be 100x square. So very easy. We can write it is negative 10x, negative 10x. So it means you can see the factor of minus 20x is minus 10x minus 10x. But their product will be 100x square. That is minus 10x into minus 10x. If you see, their product is 100x square. So the step number 1, we already find out the factorization of middle term. That is, we can have 100x square minus 10x minus 10x plus 1 equal to 0. So now student, in step number 2, we have to write the common terms. So let us say it is our first terms. Last two we have second one. So if you see in the first two terms, we have 100 and here we have 10. So we can take the common 10 and x square and x, we can take the common x. So you see the left part is 10x minus 1. Similar way, now we have in the second part that is negative 10x plus 1. So you can take the common minus. So the left one part is 10x minus 1. As you can see, again, we have taken the common minus and we have changed the sign plus to minus. All right. So now we can move to the step number 3. That is basically, we have to take the common between these two. If you see, the common part is 10x minus 1. Now the left part is, you see here it is 10x and minus. You see there is nothing is written. So we will understood automatically that it is 1 equal to 0. So student, now you can see the interesting thing again. We have two factors here and you see both the factor are same again, because in part 4, step 4, if you equate both the part equal to 0, so what you will get? You will get from the first, it is x equal to 1 over 10. Similarly, from the second part, you can have 1 over 10. So it means very interesting thing that we got the two factors, but both the factors, or you can say both the roots are same for this quadratic equation. That is 2 equal root we got in the question 5, 2 equal roots. So I hope students, these 5 questions are clear to you. If you have any doubts, any query, you can write me in the comment section. So thank you for the time and thank you for your patience. Please do support the channel, do like it and subscribe it. Thank you.